Hi there, I'm T1 Tina, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a type 1 diabetic. I use a Dexcom CGM, and I use a MiniMed Medtronic pump. And I plan to release a series of talks about living with diabetes from a very personal point of view. I also plan to bring you along in my everyday life and film my highs and lows. Stuff that you don't normally see much of in the movies or on the internet or in commercials. Usually they either are referring to type 2 diabetes or they just get it wrong. I think it's cool when the movies try to bring type 1 diabetes in and show the drama and the seriousness of the disease, but it's usually off a little bit. So I think it's really important to show an accurate portrayal of this disease. And I have some people in my life who love me a lot, and they feel that I have a lot of experience to share. Stuff about being a type 1 that others like yourself can maybe relate to, learn from, or just find some comfort in knowing that you're not alone. So before I get into specific topics, I just wanted to let you know a little bit about me. I was diagnosed in '92. I was 19 years old, and at the time I was living on my own. I had no parents taking care of me, and it was really pretty scary. My first boy was just a baby, and it's been really quite a battle and quite a journey since then. But now I'm 45. I'm married. I have 2 sons. I've been a hairdresser since 1990, and I've had my own salon, which you can see right behind me, since 2007. I plan to film from around the shop because one of the things I'd like to share a lot about will be life as a busy hairdresser with type 1 diabetes. It's something that I've dealt with my entire career, and the people who have worked with me are usually pretty impressed by what we have to overcome as diabetics and still serve the public and make people feel comfortable and offer quality work. So I definitely plan to film from around the shop and show you, a part of what that life is like, and perhaps introduce you to the lovely girls that I work with. Today I'm just sort of like hiding in the manicure cove, but out there is our cutting area and our reception area, and you'll see the rest of the shop in the future. Along with type 1 diabetic topics, I'll also probably talk about beauty. If you have any questions or you'd like advice or comments, I love giving beauty advice. It's probably the only thing that has consumed my mind nearly as much as living with diabetes. And it really is who I am. As you can see, I got my sparkly scissors on today. So I would love to discuss beauty as well, but my main purpose is being type 1 Tina and sharing this disease, the reality of this disease, with the world. In 2009, I was diagnosed with celiac disease, which is very common for type 1 diabetics. It's another autoimmune disease where you can't have gluten. So I have been gluten-free since 2009. And the following year, I started eliminating animal products from my diet, just on the advice of a family member and after reading some things and watching some documentaries, and I started to feel really great. And I got myself to where I am completely vegan. And I feel wonderful. I plan to stay this way, and it's worked fantastic for me personally. I know this because my labs have never been better my entire life as far as cholesterol and things like that. So I will discuss living plant-based, but I'm certainly not going to push it. I know a lot of type 1s do great on the low-carb diet, and that is really difficult to do if you're not eating animal products. So by all means, I will discuss that as well, and I'm very supportive of any healthy choices that we make as type 1 diabetics. So I look forward to talking about dietary choices and restrictions and what works for who. Over the years, I've tried so much and I've learned so much. I've had some failures and I have had some victories. And the one thing that has been the common thread through my entire life is I've always really felt alone through it all. And it's unfortunate because, like I said, I have people in my life who really love me. But type 1 diabetes is a very isolating disease. if you don't have anyone around you who also has type 1 diabetes, then you don't have anyone around you who really gets it. And I have a husband who's so supportive. He has my glucose monitoring system app on his phone. He watches constantly. I mean, he's committed to what I deal with every day with this disease. And so I don't want to come off like, these parents who will wear an empty pump just so they can see what it feels like for their children. That is an amazing thing. It's an awesome thing. It's a gift to us. But my point is, from a personal perspective, if you don't have others around you who really live with the disease, you still feel alone, kind of. So what I plan to do is sort of bring the awareness out there, get to know other people in the world who also have it. I started this by starting a group on Facebook called Type 1 Diabetes Support Group. And my intention was to make some friends from around the world who just really do get it. And wouldn't you know, this group grew to over 12,000 people right now. I have a bunch of awesome admins who do way more work than I do to moderate the group. And it's been phenomenal. I have learned so much from the people in this group. So I guess what I'm realizing is that most of us feel the same. We need the support of other people with this disease. It's not a common disease. It's only a small percentage of the diabetes that you hear about in the world today. Like, I think I've read 4 or 5% of diabetics are type 1 diabetics. And it's a very dangerous disease and a very serious disease. It's also a disease that you can live a long and happy life with. And I plan to touch on both of those points. So here's a list of some of the topics I'd like to discuss in the future, but I'd love for you to comment and let me know if there's something else that you would like to learn about from me or from the others viewing. You guys can have discussions in the comments. I'm going to learn from you as well. First of all, I'm thinking kind of like a day in the life of me. I'd like to put that out there. I mean, other type 1s don't necessarily need to learn from what my life is like, but of course we can all learn from each other's experiences. But like I said, I just want the world to know what we go through. We're busy, we're working, we're functioning in society, and we might act like everything's okay, but quite often it's not. It's hard. So my goal is to be able to create like a vlog sort of thing where people can follow along and see what it's really like for us. I also plan on doing some talks about type 1 versus type 2 and beyond. There are other types of diabetes as well. And that's a very, very common problem that people mix them up, and it can be frustrating for us as type 1s. I'm going to talk about diadepression, diabulimia, snack sneaking, mini-med pump with CGM versus Dexcom CGM, and other pumps and CGMs as well. Counting carbs and dual boluses, the types of bolus and dosing that you need for different types of carbs. Pumps versus multiple daily injections. Low carb diet and insulin dosage. Yes, you still need insulin, even if you're eating like no carbs. If you're a type 1, you need insulin. Plant-based versus vegan, there is a difference. I'm going to discuss how type 1 could also mean that you have other autoimmune diseases and how it's important to watch for other autoimmune diseases. Like I said, I have celiac. I'm also going to discuss living with type 1 and celiac, hypo unawareness and the anxiety that goes with it, and medications such as Symlin, Byetta, metformin, and the sort. Often prescribed for type 2s, but type 1s in many cases can benefit from it as well. So I'm going to talk about that. And a big topic that I get a lot of questions about is tattoos and diabetics. I have quite a bit of tattoos, and people will say that you can't get them because you'll get infected. And people will say, I've been a diabetic my whole life and I have 12 tattoos and I've never had a problem. So I'm going to talk about that too. That's a really interesting topic. Again, if you guys think of anything else you'd like to have put out there in the world, I would love to put it out there and share it and learn from you as well. And I really look forward to talking with you all in the future. Thanks. Bye.